For our returning viewers, we're talking about the book This Explains Everything again. But we're not talking about it. This is a new chapter we just read because I'm reading it very slowly, of course. Every chapter, I want to make a video about it. Okay, so this chapter is Barry C. Smith's response to what is your favorite deep, beautiful, elegant explanation of the world. He wrote, "Lemons are fast." He's the professor and director in the Institute of Philosophy in the School of Advanced Study at the University of London. He is the author of Questions of Taste, The Philosophy of Wine. So basically this chapter, if you've seen my video, the call voices and spilled tendency or something, the spilled tendency, this chapter is going to talk about sensory spill. It's going to talk about it as this cool human power. What it doesn't talk about is interpretive spill, which is a major, which could be a power, could give us new ideas and stuff, and it does. But it's also a major problem because we think that we're reasonable when there's all this interpretive spill happening. So I want to read the chapter and respond to it. It's a page and a paragraph. No, sorry, 2 pages and a paragraph. When asked to put lemons on a scale between fast and slow, almost everyone says fast. And we have no idea why. Maybe human brains are just built to respond that way. Probably. But how does that help? It's an explanation of sorts, but it seems to be a stopping point when we wanted to know more. This leads us to ask what we want from an explanation. One that's right, or one that satisfies us. Things that were once self-evident are now known to be false. A straight line is obviously the shortest distance between 2 points until we think that space is curved. What satisfies our way of thinking need not reflect reality. Why expect a simple theory of a complex world? Wittgenstein had interesting things to say about what we want from explanations, and he knew different sorts could serve. Sometimes you just need more information. Sometimes we need to examine a mechanism like a valve or a pulley to understand how it works. Sometimes what we need is a way of seeing something familiar in a new light to see it as it really is. He also knew there were times when explanations won't do. All right, I don't feel like reading this at all, I'm sorry. Okay. For the obvious next question to ask is, why are human brains built this way? Okay, I'll just keep reading. He also knew there were times when explanations won't do. For someone worried by love, an explanatory hypothesis will not help much. That's a quote. So what of the near universal response to the seemingly meaningless questions of whether lemons are fast or slow? To be told that our brains are simply built to respond that way doesn't satisfy us, but it's precisely when an explanation leaves us short that it spurs us to greater effort. It's the start of the story, not the end. For the obvious next question to ask is, why are human brains built this way? What purpose could it serve? And here the phenomenon of automatic associations may give us a deep clue about the way the mind works, because it's symptomatic of what we call cross-modal correspondences. Non-arbitrary associations between features in one sense modality with features in another. Non-arbitrary associations between features in one sense modality with features in another. These are cross-modal correspondences between, there are cross-modal correspondences between taste and shape, between sound and vision, and between hearing and smell, many of which are being investigated by experimental psychologist Charles Spencer. He says, and the reason we make these connections in the brain, we don't make these connections in the brain, okay? We were programmed for these connections to be made. Is to give us multiple fixes on objects in the environment that we can both hear and see. Probably not. It also allows us to communicate elusive aspects of our experience. Okay, it does, but the reason is to give us multiple fixes on objects in the environment. It's not to give us, yes, those brains that had multiple fixes, that were able to consider things in multiple ways, thanks to this spilling over. Normally, only this sense is supposed to process that. But then when you have another sense or processing that, well, now you have a new perspective of it. It's kind of bullshit, but not really. That it could lead to something. Oh gosh, fuck this video. And also, this is such an important chapter, but also, I think I'm just sad because just being the only. Am I even recording? Just being the only fucking self-aware person. I'm not aware of all my thoughts or my errors, but I know what my thoughts, I know what it's about. I mean, I know where my thoughts sort of come from. I don't want to say come from, but where they are. And I know some of the mechanisms of them. And so the fact that we all think lemons are fast may be a big part of the reason we're so smart. Yes, because it gives us these multiple perspectives, but also no, because of interpretive cross-modal association. It's amazing how many of these authors get this close. But why aren't any of them just saying, well, one of them did say something about the self being an illusion. Been taking my medicine and everything, but I've been thinking about my death lately, not in the sense that I want it to happen soon, but one in the sense that I don't talk myself out of smoking a joint, because it might, God, I can't stay here forever. 80 years, fuck that. Have to have done something with the time that I was here. So made some contribution to getting you guys self-aware, and then I want to fuck off. Can you just do me that favor? Can you just believe the evidence that people say lemons are fast. Advertisers know this intuitively. All people know this because we're just in all of our programming. Anyway, advertisers know this intuitively and exploit cross-modal correspondences between abstract shapes in particular products or between sounds and sights. Angular shapes conjure up carbonated water, not still, whereas an ice cream called Frisch would be thought creamier than one called Frosh. Notice too how many successful companies have names starting with the K sound and how few with S. These associations set up expectations in the mind that not only help us perceive, but may shape our experiences. Help us perceive. Definitely shapes our perceptions, definitely shapes our experiences, definitely shapes our interpretations, or it's material of our interpretations. Remember that one author? He was like, sensory perception, it's the most important thing to study, to understand. It's the basis of all. What about interpretation? I can die happy if one person I just need some hope that I've gotten one person to become self-aware to go, oh, I'm a brain, and I'm not a single thing. This brain has all these different parts, and there's no part of my brain that knows all the activity everywhere else or has control everywhere else. So I'm this like fragmented, dissociated thing with this illusion of coherence and reason. It's not reasonable. They're just these instincts, this programming, these shortcuts, these heuristics that I evolved with for a completely different environment. That means that every thought, every impulse, every belief, every reasoning process I need to question, was there actually as much of a process as my programming indicates? Programming seems to have given a thumbs up to whatever thinking I did, but did I do any thinking? My own metacognition I have to question. I have to be metacognitive. I can't even trust my own understanding of my thoughts or my awareness of them. Someone be completely lost. Go, what the fuck? How can I do anything? Oh, I can't trust any of my thoughts. Let me guide you on my way out. Let me answer some of your questions about what you can do. The truth is, no, you can't trust yourself. And thank God you've understood that. The best thing you can do is figure out how much you can trust yourself relative to how much you trust other people. Do they have self-awareness? Do they know that they are brains? Do they know that their brains were programmed by Mother Nature in this not haphazard, but yeah, haphazard way, and also for completely different sort of objectives or with different environmental pressures? If they don't know that, and if they aren't able to recognize any of the programming, and you've learned some of yours, that you associate lemons with speed for some reason, that when it's probably about the citrus. It's a strong, hot, sensory thing, and that's like fast. It's like lightning, citrus lightning. I think there's probably some association there, not for any good reason, but just because they had this thing in common of both being, psst, See, why did I choose that onomatopoeia? Whatever. Well, I needed a plosive. Well, I didn't need it. I associate a sudden thing with a plosive, right? This could have been B or whatever, but the same reason we have pow. We also have bam, but anyway, I want but then we need this, right? Isn't that like citrusy? But also, isn't that like lightning? I mean, you might think, no, it's kapoom or something, but isn't it kind of... I don't know. That's the association in my mind. It's stupid, it's random, but... Come to me. Say, oh my gosh. Can't trust any of my thoughts. And when they're happening, just say them. But then after, then look at your thoughts. And I got to do more of this and really push it farther, because this is all just system one, right? But when we react to our own thoughts, we have a better chance of having some higher voice activity. So anyway, just understand that you don't exist. You're just a whole bunch of different voices interacting, all these different relationships, producing behavior, and you're just this voice, and then you're then this voice, and you're these voices, and you're that voices, and you're the activity of those voices at one point. That's my dying wish.